Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for attending today's webinar, which is Welcome to Copilot in Microsoft Teams. This is a great webinar. We talk about, well, how cool Copilot is, but also some ways that we can integrate it with an app that we're probably using all day long anyway, which is Microsoft Teams. I'm going to show you lots of ways we can integrate it and some examples, some discussion, hopefully create some awareness of how you can use Copilot to make the most of Teams. And we've got a bunch of people joining, which is awesome. So thanks for attending. This is live and it's being recorded. And you'll also have an opportunity to ask questions. So please use the question panel that you see. And as people are joining, I'm going to launch this poll. Just curious, those of you who are on now, do you currently use Copilot? Just want to get the pulse of the group before we kind of get started. Some good information today, but do you currently use it? No, yes, the free personal one, yes, the free work one, or yes, the full Microsoft 365 Copilot license, the one that you or your organization has to pay for. So 88% no, and 13% yes, the free work one. That's interesting. And almost everybody voted. So most people don't. I think this is going to be very cool. If you have, and certainly feel free to type in the question panel, by the way, to communicate. But that's kind of a cool poll. If you have Microsoft 365 and you have a license where you get, I'm going to close the poll, where you get like the apps and the, like an E3 or an E5 license, if you're aware of Microsoft 365, you also have access to this new feature, which is actually a free sort of version of Copilot inside of Teams. So you can have the Copilot business chat part of it, just like you could online. But I'll show you how cool that is. I've got a couple of different profiles here that I can show you what that experience might look like. So I'm excited. Again, thanks very much. I think it's so cool VirtualIT offers these, and I'm psyched to talk about it. So let's get started. We'll explore a few things, just some basics. What is Copilot? And if many of you are not using it yet, this might be helpful. I can provide some information, some more context. And how does it integrate with Teams? Because there's Copilot, which is this huge thing in itself, and then there's Teams, and then we're using them together. So it's actually super powerful. And we're going to show how to access Copilot, because there are a lot of different ways that you can use it, and it does depend on your license. So that's why I'm going to give a few different scenarios. Another reason why those polls are so important. So thanks. What's a prompt? Why are those so important? Ways we can make the most of Copilot and Teams, like I said, and that can be through chat, meetings, pages, very cool feature, and images. So if you need to create images for a PowerPoint presentation, you can actually do that right in Teams. If you need to schedule events, catch up on things. There are two main types, we'll say, of Copilot, because I want to let you know there are actually lots of different Copilots. There are a lot of different iterations and versions of Copilot. It depends on which app you're in, how you're using it, what your settings are, what the organization allows you to do or not. So you might see things differently on your screen as mine. Again, it depends on license. But also there are updates constantly. It's such a fast-moving thing. But I think that seeing today's presentation and kind of thinking about, like, what do you do at work that would benefit from like some automation or having something just instantly search for you, saving you a bunch of time? What would that be? Going through emails, going through chats, scheduling meetings. So we can really fine tune that experience of, I guess, kind of saying, which Copilot are you using? Copilot for Microsoft 365 is going to be the one that ties to your work. So that means you have these two settings, work mode and web mode. And again, sometimes the organization that you're working at won't let you access the web for security reasons. So it's customizable by your organization. But the out-of-the-box main idea is you have a work one, and you can switch context between work and web. So do you want Copilot to look securely inside your organization at all of your stuff, like emails and chats and files, comb through your files, find that thing you would spend 2 hours trying to find? Copilot can find in like 5 seconds. That's awesome. So it's using your Microsoft 365 environment inside of Teams, which I love because all my stuff's there. I mean, the meetings, I can go through meetings. I can use Copilot in Stream, which is the video part. If you record a Teams meeting, it's stored in Stream and you can access it and get a lot of different insights on that. Now, if you toggle the web mode, this is kind of like, this could be the Copilot chat alone, for example. This could be like Chat GPT, but with Microsoft flavor. Really, because it's using GPT-4 and it's using really powerful large language model, or like a model that it's learning from, but it's not going to leak any of your company data. So you can access the web to say, like I have an example of office plants and like how to care for them and stuff. You might want to search for things that wouldn't be in your work data, right? So you can have web mode. That's going to assist with your research, general queries, finding things on everything from Wikipedia to the stock market. So this can help you automate, stay in touch with other resources that are out there, but there's some things you got to remember. And it's Copilot can help you create things. It can also help you understand things. It can spark ideas and creativity, but a lot of it has to do with the conversation. So there is a part in Teams where Copilot is just a chat. You can just chat with it about your ideas, bounce things off. But then you can even get really fancy and create your own little custom bot, like your own agent is what they're called. I'll show you the many Copilots. And some of them you don't have to have the full license for, which is cool. If you have like an E3 or E5 Microsoft 365 license, you can still have Copilot chat in Teams. It's just not going to tie to your existing work files. That's the one that costs more money. But we're also going to talk, I'll show a little bit more about prompting. So there is an art to prompting. It's a science. You want to have a conversation that gives specific details, but really provides an arena to learn a lot or to harness it in and really fine tune and focus. So you can ask for general summaries, but then you can really fine tune that conversation or your questions and frame it so you can gain the deeper insights that you need. So if you're double or triple booked on a meeting, for example, and then there's AI insights and there's the ability to read the chat, and if it's in a different language, translate it. I have an example where we had an event that was delivered in Spanish, and then I had this summary, give me a summary in English. That's really cool. That's because I don't know Spanish. So that was really helpful for me, and it saved me a ton of time trying to figure it out or ask the person to translate it for me. So the meetings and the recaps are a big deal in Teams. That's one reason why people use it. To get those meeting insights and the full meeting capability, you have to have the full license though. But we're going to spend some time in the free part too, the chat. So the translation part is cool. Again, it can be for specific meeting type insight stuff, but sometimes we need to be creative at work, and like I know I do, and sometimes you might have like a creative block. Well, it can help you tell a story. It can help you frame an idea. So I think of it as sparking and maybe a seed, like starting with a seed. And then if I have a technical problem, Copilot's really helpful. Sometimes it goofs up though and it makes mistakes and it just makes stuff up. But that would happen if I Googled something too. Not all that stuff's true, right? So here's an example. One of my favorite examples of how to use Copilot in Teams is with the meetings. So this is a meeting, which is basically, it was a short webinar on discovering latest features in Teams. And we have AI summaries. I didn't write this, Copilot did. And you can expand these and it gives information. Also tells you who was speaking until I delivered the webinar. I was talking. And then other people talked during that, before it. So I can click and go right to that spot. This is a screenshot, but I'll show you what it looks like inside of Teams. Those are great ways where that you can kind of just get started with meetings, because most of us are going to be in meetings anyway. It can be kind of a good start. Since we talked with the poll at the beginning, about 88% were no, and then a lot of people were using the free one. And I'm clicked here. I'm going to start here in the Copilot chat. And I have that here on the side on the left rail. We can see Copilot. Now this can be moved around, by the way. And if you don't see Copilot here, if you click on apps, you should be able to search in there and find it. I think that there is an update in Microsoft that's possibly happening this week that is going to default put Copilot there. The other thing is it might pop up and ask you, would you like to add Copilot to your team's experience? So you might see that pop up too. That's a possibility. But anyway, if it's on the bottom, I like it up on the top. So just drag it, drop it, right click on it, and then a couple things you can do. Pin it. I recommend doing that. You could share it and tell other people to learn about it. If you click here, it does tell you it works across Microsoft 365. So this Copilot instance that we're seeing here in the Teams environment is actually the same one you'll see if you go on the web or you go to the Microsoft 365 site, the office.com style one, even in Outlook. You're going to have the same experience. So one of the things about Copilot is you can have a consistent look and feel throughout with the chat. But if you want to fine tune and get more specific, it is all about context. So if you want to know about meetings, go into that meeting and Copilot gives you special things that you can do. If you're chatting about something, Copilot has special agents that you can either create or use that are already created. And there are also agents that help you create images. So we'll explore this interface. I'll show you all the cool things we can do. In fact, even with the free one, you get a certain amount of free images you can create, which is fun. No copyright to worry about for your PowerPoint. But check this out. Now that I'm here in this app, so Copilot, this is actually by name Microsoft 365 Copilot. That's the work version. The free version is just called Copilot. But check it out. On the top, there's work. And what this is doing is saying, it's got some suggestions for prompts. Prep for that meeting. Get calendar info. It even puts people in there. So this is my work one. So it's going to tie to work. So check this out. Prep for that meeting. I'm going to do a preset one. Help me prepare for this. So what it did was it added and attached. You can see because there's an X. It attached the meeting into the chat for context. I would not get that option, which is also done by using a slash. So I used a preset prompt, so it put it in there. But if you just type slash and I go to meetings, well, here are those meetings. So that it knew that one was coming up. So I'm going to say, please help me prepare for that. I'm just going to hit send. So it brings it up, tells me information. It also has an attachment. So I have access to everything. And this is just in a chat. So this is one of the big things for Copilot and Teams is you can accomplish a lot in the chat. Because if you just ask it, a lot of times it'll work. Sometimes it doesn't, but it'll tell you what to do. If it says, I can't do that yet, you say, how can I do it? It'll guide you through the steps. Pretty cool. So this is telling me things that I can do to prep for this. It's got files. It says I authored these files, and here are some tips for preparation. Understand the meeting setup. Check your licensing. Making sure everything is working. That's always a good thing to do too. And look, it actually cites each of these things. Emails that were correspondence. So it does citations for content, but also like the real actual events that are happening. It'll tell you where you can get to it. So that's pretty cool. Watch this. I'm going to just begin typing a little bit more. I'm going to say, what is Mike's email address? I actually asked that earlier, so it's in my history. I know Mike's email address. We're just doing this for an exercise. So it does its best to pick up context. Check this out. There are several individuals named Mike. So it looked across my whole Microsoft 365. It found all the Mikes I've been talking to lately. Sorry, Mike. But you're on the top. And it tells me I can find more information about this person. It does searches. It says it may be incorrect. That happens. So I might say, please schedule a meeting with Mike. Okay. And even if you do little typos like not the capital M, that'll be okay. So it's saying I can help you do that. It's your specific date and time, and it says continue on Outlook. I forgot to say that. So it does help me. Today at 4 p.m., please. Don't worry. Mike, if you can hear me, we're not going to meet today at 4 this. But continue on Outlook. There we go. Click it. It actually launches Outlook, so it's integrated with that. And ta-da. Look at that. It puts them in there. I could do the title, make it a Teams meeting, use scheduling assistant, move it around, things like that. That's a great way to bridge Teams and Outlook, because it will work back and forth, which is incredibly helpful. So this, I'm suggesting, I typed in Mike. It wasn't really sure. Maybe it will eventually understand fully, but I think that's great. Now, if I go to the web one, it's not work context. However, we see this little green icon. That means the enterprise data protection applies. And the reason is because I'm signed in with my work account. So we're using Copilot in Teams. Side note, if you logged into the website, the Copilot website, and you logged in with your work account, it would automatically kick you into that enterprise protected area, because Copilot is smart enough to say, oh, if it's work, it's probably sensitive data. Let's put this on it, and it will bring you over to your work environment. So that's why sometimes people see a different experience. So in here, I could certainly use chat to help me create messages. But again, in this area, if I say, here, I'm going to show you ones I've already done. I said, what color shirt am I wearing? So this is an exercise in context, because if I'm in the web version, it said I can't see you, so I can't tell what color shirt you have. I said I'm dressed in all blue with gray shoes. And then it makes its little comments or whatever. And then I asked it again. I said, well, since you're dressed in blue, I'm guessing your shirt is blue. Cool. So that worked. If I go to the work one, it won't work. If I go to a new chat and I ask it again, it doesn't know again, because each new chat is different. It has a different memory. So if you're using Copilot in Teams and you want to keep talking about the same topic, go find it in the chat history down here. Now that's the web, and I think that's cool. Just a good exercise in seeing. It does, of course, it doesn't know. Hopefully not, unless you tell it the context. Well, work and having the work mode, that is the context. So I can say, based on my posts today, what color shirt am I wearing? And now what it's going to do is look through my chats and my emails and my posts. It's going to say, based on your post today, you mentioned that you're wearing a blue shirt in support of National Casual Brilliance Day. It's made up. And then I can go to that chat or that post, and there it is. I put this up just literally to show you that it uses past conversations as context. So it figured out that I'm wearing a blue shirt today. So again, back to that chat part. New chat is going to give you a blank slate. Work is going to give you the context of work. If you do the slash here, it gives you additional context like what's up with Jen, or please summarize. I like to say please. I get better results. Please summarize. I'm going to do slash. And I'm going to say plant. I'm just starting to type it. I could hit files or meetings or emails, but there we go. Hit send. Now this is already on my SharePoint document library. It's already in there. So it's giving me an overview and all this stuff. There are other ways to give context. And one, you'll see this at mention. That actually means chat with an agent. Right? You can add content. So you can use an at mention to chat with an agent, which is a customized bot that you can create in Teams. Pretty wild stuff, actually. This is new. You can also click on the paperclip instead of the slash. And you can also drag and drop files into this chat, and it's just going to upload them to your OneDrive, because it's got to be in OneDrive for it to work, or SharePoint. So that's cool. That means we can have it look at any file and give us information. So I had it summarize that plant care guide. And just for for fun, what I did was I created this Excel document, and I created this plant whisperer, which is an agent. So this is the story. You can get agents like a visual creator, idea coach, admin help. You can create an agent of your own, and it uses a Copilot Studio. And you're going to see this built in. Basically, you can describe what you want this agent to do for you. And I basically went through and I said I want it to tell me all about the plant care in the office, what plants there are, the schedule, base it off this document. And I created this thing. So now I have a custom Copilot. I could say, what plants need watering today? I've added all the content previously to prep it. So now it knows exactly the context and it's saying, I'll look in the office plant care tracker. That's the Excel document. And it'll also look in the Word document and a website I provided. So it's saying, these are the plants. This is their location. I took this from Excel. There's a lot here because a lot of these are daily. But isn't that interesting? This would be normally a lot to go through. But to have it create all of this, very broad question. But I could get specific. Where are the spider plants located? It'll tell me. Only because I have it all in that. This is going wild. There we go. It's using this Excel document. So I love it. I have access to all of my stuff here from the chat. I've even got like door codes in here, so I could ask Copilot anything that I want about that. So this is a custom bot. This app here is using a Copilot icon there. That is our work version of Copilot chat. This is the web version. If you don't have the full license, you won't see this toggle, and you're basically going to see it'll look like just this part. You won't have work or web, but you can have chats. You can have agents. It's protected. You can use pages, which is basically like a book that you can have to take notes. So if I wanted to say, please, here, Windows 11 FAQ series, this is a page that I can interact with and build on from stuff that I gain, knowledge that I gain from using Copilot. So I recommend going in and playing around with this a little bit. And if you're not sure how to get started, maybe click on web, check out some of the practice prompts like this. Add files, but there's this little sparkle icon. Whenever you see the sparkle icon, that's going to give you a prompt gallery. So you can have your own prompts. You can have Microsoft prompts. You can learn. These are all the different things you can do with Copilot in Teams. Learn, create, ask, code, and catch up. You can choose your job type. So if I do like learn, marketing, that's not a good one. Uncheck. Yours may look slightly differently. You can see all prompts is going to bring you to the Copilot website, which is cool. I encourage you to check out the prompt gallery. This is better here. Now we can see all the different industries or departments and things, and I can help you learn more about how to ask Copilot for things. All right, let's go back to Teams. I've got just a few minutes left, so I want to mention some of the other things that you can do besides just asking, hey, can you help me create this? Can you translate this? I'm going to go to the work one, and I'm going to add this meeting. Here. Please summarize this. This is the one that I showed in the presentation, the slide at the beginning. But this basically goes through, tells me different things. If I click on it, I'm going to actually go to the meeting in my calendar and look. Here's the recording and the transcript, and there's a recap tab. So if you click on that recap tab on a Teams meeting, now you've got to have it recorded or transcribed, or it won't be able to do this for you. But it has an AI generated summary. And look, this is in Spanish. This was the Spanish version. But if I want to, see this button here, open in stream. I click that, and it's going to take me to stream, which this is where my that meeting lives. It's actually on Dan's OneDrive. So across Microsoft 365, I can say recap the meeting. I could type it or click list action items. They're always good suggestions. And this is showing me in English a recap with timestamps that I can click on. And of course, it's trying to teach me the whole time about how it works. Got it. But this can be incredibly helpful if you, as I mentioned earlier, you're double, you're triple booked. It even works for recurring meetings. These are interactive down here. We can go by topic, chapters, speakers. I can see where Dan maybe came in to answer a question somebody had. I can click on that. It's going to go right to it, which I love.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, there is Dan. But so I'm going to go back to the Copilot part. And lastly is designer. So here I wanted to create some transformer looking images for like PowerPoint, Word, pretending that these are your Copilots. I went through and I had it create the actual plants. Check this out. This is my example. Create an image of a bird of paradise in an office setting and a pot in an office. And it created these images for me. I think that's awesome. You get tons of different iterations. You can use this for free. You can use this in the Designer app or in the Copilot app, and you just ask it and it'll create it for you. There are several different prompts. It doesn't have to be a picture like this. It can be graphs, ideas, flowcharts. Just ask, think about your prompt, and you're going to really see it do pretty amazing things.
Yeah, one suggestion, John. I know I often, this is Dan, by the way, I will ask Copilot and Teams to compare two documents. So that's another thing you can do and kind of highlight what the differences are, because we're often presenting content, right? And it changes over time. So that's a pretty neat feature that I leverage. And I also just want to, John showed that recording or that meeting in Spanish. We use Teams Premium so that we can actually have the Spanish translated to English when we're hosting, because they're not great Spanish speakers. So that is a Teams Premium, not a Copilot feature, but that summary is a pretty powerful tool and is a Copilot tool.
Dan, that's a really cool application, actually. Just doing / compare these two files / and it does it. That's awesome. Good suggestion. I actually have not done that. I love it. Always learning new stuff. But thank you, VirtualIT. Thank you, everyone attending. I appreciate you taking the time. Mike, I know you wanted to say something here at the end, but
yeah.
I just encourage people to go try it. Just ask.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. There's a lot of good tips in there, great suggestions, fun examples. I really like showing everyone how you can actually treat Copilot like an assistant. I feel like a lot of people think of it more as like a search engine on steroids, but there's really so much more that it can do for you once you kind of get familiar with it and know how to tell it what you want.
That's a very, very good point, Mike. Exactly. Yeah, treat it like an assistant. It'll do anything you want. You just got to ask, though.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's safe. It's secure. You would never want to copy paste your stuff into like the free version or ChatGPT. So there are a lot of benefits to having it inside of your team's environment like this. So thank you once again.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Hope everybody found something useful out of it. As always, this webinar was recorded. So we'll be sure to send a link out as soon as we get it uploaded to our website. The next webinar is scheduled for May 14th. We'll be rounding out our Copilot series with Copilot for OneNote. So definitely keep an eye out for the invitation for that. And that's everything that we have. Hope everyone has a great day, and hope to see you on the next one.